on the bass up on this one. Check it.
Yeah, this is Ryan Riccatelli with asnews.net and the Kiteboardermagazine.com coming to you live from Del Mar, California. I'm here with Alexis Rovira.
How you doing out there, kiters?
This is the asnews.net's premiere podcast. That's right, we're bringing it to you live, Kite Radio, and we'll be bringing it to you once a week, 1 hour. Well, we'll probably start off with a half hour and we'll move it somewhere to an hour, and we're not going to put any limits on it. It's live and basically it's real, and we're going to be giving you the real news.
All day, all night, all the time.
That's right. So we're going to kick it off a little bit with some kiteboarding news and some headlines that are going on around the town, or around, I should say, the world. And basically, yeah, this is our first iPodcast, so we're going to sound like monkeys right now.
Oh, bring on the bananas.
That's okay though. We're bold enough to bring it to you. And right now, let's see some of the most current news that's going on. Have you had a chance to check out kitebeaches.com? If you haven't had a chance to check out kitebeaches.com, there's 1,533 beaches registered online, and that's in 139 countries. And tell everyone what kitebeaches.com is about, Alexis, because you always use it.
Oh man, when you're traveling, when you're lost, when you don't know where the hell you're going, and you need to find a spot where the wind is good and you don't know the conditions, that's the place to go. Gives you info, gives you where to go, what the winds are doing, what the water's like, if there's surf, if it's flat water, when's the best time to hit it during the year, what type of wind conditions. Almost anything and everything that you want to have on there is on there.
Hey, we're going to dial in Greg. Hang on 1 second. I got Paul Lang here too. Paul Lang's online to ask Greg some questions about some instruction. Hang on 1 second. Let's see if we can get Greg on the line.
Hello?
Greg, this is Ryan Riccatelli, asnews.net, the Kiteboarder Magazine.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Good. We got you live on our podcast, our premiere podcast, and I've got Paul Lang here. Paul Lang is with West Coast Kiteboarding. He's an instructor. He's a up-and-coming rider as well. And basically, I wanted to put you guys together and talk to you about some of what you've been doing on the East Coast, because I know you're definitely raising the bar in terms of the riding level over there. So, how you doing tonight?
Good, man.
Yeah, dude, we've been podcasting for a while here. We're drinking beers, so we're sorry if we're moving a little slow, but that's all right. We're having fun, and we're bringing it to you live from the West Coast, Del Mar, California. Hey, Greg, tell us a little bit about the East Coast kiteboarding scene and where you're based and all that. Tell us what's going on there.
East Coast kite scene for me is down in Miami with a whole bunch of OGs like you guys over there. But basically, it's just me and my buddy Ian from the University of Miami, and we're just trying to do our best to make ourselves look like idiots out there.
Where do you usually ride?
We're in a place called Madison Hammock Park, right by downtown Miami, so it's a scenic backdrop.
What kind of riding style? Is it flat water, wave? What is it?
Yeah, it's flat water. No waves down in Miami.
You do a lot of the instructional call-outs for our magazine. I mean, I have complete faith in your ride, and I think you're definitely someone to look in the magazines for and remember your name. And that's Greg Norman, folks. If you haven't seen him ride, and he's been featured in the Kiteboarder magazine in the last 3 issues. So, and if you read our sequences, Greg is one of the guys who puts all that stuff together. I know you're a flat water rider. I know you really come hard from the wake style. Give us a little update on what's the new school, what's going on in that little category of riding.
Well, the wake style net now is basically trying to do whatever the guys can do behind the cable and do it behind the kite, just bigger and faster. See, we had the wakeboarding. We could do that off the kickers and flyers, which is awesome, but we try to take everything we see at the cable park and just do exactly what those guys are doing, but do it better.
Hey, now, you just mentioned something, the cable. Why don't you explain to our listeners who don't understand what the cable is?
The cable is an easy way to get there and go wakeboard. It's a pulley system that takes you around on a lake, where the cable is attached to a 40 to 50-foot line that pulls pulls you about 18, 19 miles an hour, and the line and the edge of the pop are all about the same as from a kite. So we could take that and just put it behind the kite and train everything we can there. Then behind the kite, you could go a little bit higher and faster because nothing's restricting you.
The East Coast, it has several cable parks. I know I've been to the one up in Orlando, and I've been to the one in Del Rey. You and Andy Herdman definitely own that park along with Shannon Best. Shannon Best is the OG of cable park riding. So, and basically what I'm saying is I know that, like, on the West Coast here, we're really more about wave riding. So it's really interesting to have Paul talk to you about, flat water riding, because I know here we don't have it. You came out here, you visited me. We did the Baja California San Quintin trip, and I know the West Coast scene completely kind of like astounded you in a sense. You didn't expect to see what you saw. So give me some feedback on what you think is the differences between the West Coast and the East Coast.
Well, when there was those little 2-foot waves down in Baja, everyone saw a little fun wave to shred on a surfboard, but I saw kickers where I could do my wakeboard shit off of. And it's pretty cool seeing the difference in how everyone pushed each other on the surfboards, strapped, unstrapped, whatever, skimboards. That's a whole different scene that we don't really get over here. Everyone's trying to do just the big air, mellow stuff, while you guys are killing it, doing everything like emulating the surfers on the wave. What we're trying to do with wakeboards.
Well, I think a lot of that comes from most of the people around here. We all come from surfing background, and because we take it for granted that we have waves every day. And I've spent a lot of time on the East Coast as well, and I know my time over there, it's definitely made me have to step up my flat water riding, which I will tell you sucks, because I don't know how to do half the stuff you do. And speaking of that, I've seen you. Some of the stuff you're doing, it's all about the powered tricks. Can you give us some insight, a little bit about what a powered trick is and what an unpowered trick is?
Powered trick for me is when the kite's around 35 to 45 degrees. You're going about 20 miles an hour, and then when you unhook an edge, you're going even faster than that because you're building your speed on the edge. Then you release your edge, and that pop throws you into the air, where you can do any type of handle pass, wakeboard maneuver, just bigger and faster. So
why is it all about powered tricks and being unhooked? I know that most of the people who kite, I'd probably say 90% of the people who kite don't want to unhook. So what's the thrill of unhooking?
The thrill of unhooking is that it can beat the shit out of you if you don't know what you're doing. I've been out. And I was learning Mode 5 for the first time, and I landed so hard, I saw stars and the kind of mild concussion. So I like that risk factor. I like getting beat up, and then at the end of the day, when you stick that trick, it's just such a better feeling for me.
Well, we've worked a lot together, and I definitely have full faith in your riding, and I'm not giving you the okey doke or the stroke on the back just because it's not well deserved. I've seen you out there beat your head into the water, and I know that some of the stuff that you do with the kite loops, with the unhook stuff and the powered stuff. I've watched you just about rip off your arm. What do you have to say to any kid who's trying to push to that style?
If you're going to be doing that kind of stuff, you got to be able to grab your ball, suck it up, and do it. Pretty much. Because before you do the trick, you got to realize that it can beat your ass, and you got to just get over that fear, because if you have the fear going into the trick, you're going to hesitate during it and eat shit.
Hey, I want to bring something to the public's attention. I know that you've kept this really low pro for a long time. I respect who you are and your family and where you come from, but most people don't know who your dad is and what you represent. And why don't you give us a little insight on that?
My pops plays a little bit of golf. He thinks
just a little bit.
Just a little bit. Oh,
he's more of a businessman than a golfer now, but he's been playing golf for about 25 years. He's the OG of golf. I guess you could say that. And I respect the hell out of them.
No, I've actually, I'll be honest with you, Greg Jr., the one that I'm speaking to, he came down to Dominican with me this winter, and I remember Greg Sr. was flying back from Australia, and Greg Sr. had called me and left a message on my machine, and I remember I had to play it for like 2 of my friends because I was so excited that Greg Norman had called my, voicemail. But really, I mean, Greg's family, they're an awesome group of people. I mean, they support him, and Greg has never wanted to ride his family coattails, and I have so much respect for that family and what you've done and how they support you and that whole, just everything that you guys represent. And I just wanted to, make that public that, you aren't just, you've earned every bit of respect that you deserve on the water from your riding skills, and I definitely support you 100%. So, on another note, you were over there for the British Open. How was that?
First of all, let me say that meant a lot to me. Thanks, brother. British Open.
Hey, should we do a phone hug? Let's just give a phone hug right now, okay?
Oh, that's a moment.
Okay, all right. I'll get a tissue. Anyway, yeah, go ahead. Talk about the British Open.
British Open is pretty cool because it's got some time where I can hang out with my dad. Normally don't get time like that to do since he's always traveling around. I'm always traveling around doing our individual sports. And most people kept asking me how amazing it was to be out on St. Andrews, the oldest golf course in the world, at the British Open. Everyone looking at you, but all I looked at was time with my dad that we spent. It was a pretty neat experience. We got to joke around on the golf course, make fun of other golfers while we're out there. It was fun.
So how's your sister doing?
Sister's doing good. She's up to culinary school. She whips me up food whenever the hell I want her to, so I like it.
Well, yeah, when are we going to all get together, and when is she going to cook us a meal? I know we've been talking about this for a long time. I really need some family time with the Normans. I definitely would like to get some down-home cooking in Florida.
You better come over for it. We'll see how it's done over here.
All right, well, hey, Greg, thanks for that little bit there, and I'm going to turn you loose on Paul. Paul has some questions to ask you about some, powered tricks for all those who are trying to learn and enter that world of, powered kiteboarding. So, anyway, I'm going to turn you loose to Paul.
So, Greg, we just want to talk a little bit about, you're basically probably the most legit wake style rider I've seen, and you're all about the powered tricks. I want to talk for a little while about how can we start getting people into doing more of these powered, the low technical tricks. Most people are danglers when they start jumping and just want to hang out in the air. What do you think the average rider can do to help get themselves into this world of powered unhooked riding?
They just need to see it more. I mean, when you first see kiteboarding, it's more 9 out of 10 times it's going to be a guy out there just having fun, cruising back and forth and jumping. But if we get more publicity in the wake style, like the new movie coming out, Autofocus DVD, that's going to all about the wake style.
Wait a minute. Stop. Let's give a blowjob for Elliot and Autofocus. Elliot's a great friend of mine as well, so come on, give a blowjob for Autofocus.
For sure.
Autofocus, that's aclproductions.com. If you haven't checked out the trailers for that one's pretty cool too. Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt. Go ahead.
Well deserved. Yeah, just what I'm saying, just let the kids see, even go to the cable park or watch a wakeboarding video, anything like that, just to see that you can do behind the kite and just make it bigger than what any other sport is doing on a board.
Right. People just need to see it and realize that there's this whole other world of fun stuff to try and do.
Yeah.
Most people are afraid of unhooking, don't you think so?
Yeah, because that kite beat the shit out of you.
Yeah, I mean, what do you like the average rider, what do you think is keeping them from wanting to do these lower technical tricks?
Just that fear factor of getting smacked is all I can see. But you know what? If you just keep on going through a slow progression through tricks, doing little start hooking railies or little pops or anything like that, and just slowly move your way up the ladder, anything, double S bend the blind, anything in a couple months.
Greg, what do you think is the first unhook trick somebody should be trying to learn to do?
easy really, or a back roll. There's barely any consequence to them. You can do it going slow, fast, take it faster and faster and bigger and bigger.
Greg, why don't you walk us through a Rayleigh? Let's go step by step and maybe explain just a simple air Rayleigh to everybody who's out there who might be wanting to try an unhooked move. Let's take them step by step through one.
Well, really, unhooked Rayleigh is simple, really simple. Like, you even start the kite with the kite out at 65 if you want to, just to cheat a little bit and get used to the pop. So you're going to be cruising at good decent speed, cruising upwind, that's key, because then the kite will pull you out of the trick. Unhook, flatten out your edge, gain speed, and then start slowly, progressively work edging hard upwind, and stand tall and release your edge and pop up. And your board should swing out behind you. And as you feel it swing back on you, start pulling the board back underneath your body, like pulling in on the handle and swinging back in.
Right.
You should just land and ride away from this.
With that trick, where would you say most people go wrong when they're trying to learn that trick? I see a lot of people trying this trick, and a lot of people seem to kind of go wrong at the beginning there, and kind of doom it from the start, and then they have a bad experience with it. Where do you see most people when they're trying to do this? Where do you see them go wrong?
They're going too slow, and then they don't get the pop that they can get, and then be able to pull their board back underneath them.
Right.
Because if you don't pull the board back underneath you, you're just going to belly flop on your face.
Right, and that's all from going too slow. Like, if you have that speed, you can pop higher, and you can get that board back in front of you.
Yep, exactly. Speed equals higher, faster pop.
I remember when last year we were in the Keys, and it was, I think, probably around June, maybe. You were riding for Best Kiteboarding at the time, and they had a house down there, and we were doing some downwinders, and I watched you out there trying to learn powered moves, and I think I watched you probably 15 times in a row try and land this trick, and you dug your rail every time, and you slammed your head every time, and you lost your kite every time. And I sat there, and I didn't even know you at the time, but I knew who you were, and I had heard, the stories of who your dad was. I wasn't really impressed at the time, but I kind of probably was a little harder on you because I figured you were just some rich kid who had been given every opportunity to fly kites. But I think that was the defining moment when I was like, wow, this kid, he's so dang resilient. He sat here and 10, 15 times in a row, slammed himself on the water. And then I don't know how many times later, but you landed it. And you landed this trick and you rode away. And I remember, I think
probably 3 months later.
Well, Brad Lang had caught a photo of it, and it was like, I don't know, it was interesting. I watched that whole thing, and I've gotten to know you really well, and I just have to say, I mean, what do you have to say to somebody who's trying to get onto the riding level of where you're riding? Because I mean, there's only a few people out there. I mean, and I mean, there's people that I'm not saying you're the best, because there's people that are a lot better than you, and there's people that are a lot worse than you. I don't want to say who's better or who's worse, but I'm saying like, what do you think it takes to be a Dre, to be a Davey Blair, to be a Jason Slezak, to be a Greg Norman, to be a Hamish McDonald? I mean, Lou Wayman. John Modica, all these up-and-comers, Zach Kleppe, Chuck Patterson. I mean, we can go on and on and on. Moy Gold. I mean, there's a crew. Jeff Tobias, Martin Varis, all this crew of the elite. I mean, what does it take, man? I mean, if you're a young kid and you want to come up and you're trying to ride the Aaron Hadlows, the Ruben Lentons, I mean, what does it take?
Takes motivation yourself, and sometimes having a little bit of a screw loose to actually get you there. But it's all about the motivation itself and trying to see how far you can take your body and your limits, and see how far you can push those. Because if you don't have it in yourself, you're not going to get anywhere. You can say, oh, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this trick. But if you don't go out there and do it, you're never going to get there.
Hey, let's go to the penalty box. All right, what's your penalty box? Who's in the penalty box for you? Like, in terms of what type of rider, what type of stuff is in your penalty box?
No one's really in the penalty box for me, because if they're having fun doing it, I guess I can't really be making fun of them or anything like that. But for the guys who are out there just, I don't know, thinking they're the shit by doing these twirling, dancing things in the air, I don't know, and they talk like all smack afterwards about it. I can't talk to those guys. I don't know.
So all right, let's step it up. Like, all right, let's create some.
Wait, one more. So even the guy who's doing the best power wake style trick in the world, he's out there talking smack, and he can back it up, doing the sickest KGB to blind or whatever. I guess that's who I could put in the penalty box. People who are thick-headed, putting a bad image to the sport, I can't stand that.
Well, that's good, man. Well, hey, man, we better cut this off, and I just want to thank you for staying up tonight. I know it's like probably 10, 11, 12. It's like 1 o'clock in the morning on the East Coast. Is there anybody you want to give any shouts to?
ASN for doing this is pretty cool. And also my chick for putting up with me. And of course you, Riccatelli, you supported me the whole time.
Well, dude, it's definitely it's a labor of love what we do here, and dude, I appreciate your time. And hey, Paul, thanks for coming into the studio and making this happen. I think a lot of people are going to be stoked on this information. And hey, brother, I will talk to you soon.
Take it easy, mate.
All right. Oops. We're back here. This is Ryan Riccatelli, asnews.net, broadcasting live from Del Mar, California. It's late at night here on the west coast of California. It's about 11 o'clock at night. We're going to call in James Brown from Colorado. He's our snow kite editor. Hang on 1 second. Let's dial him in.
Hello?
James, this is Ryan from asnews.net. How you doing, brother?
Hey, good.
Hey, sorry for calling so late. We had some technical difficulties with the feed, and we're up and running now. And yeah, man. So why don't you introduce yourself and let everyone know who you are?
Well, I'm James Brown. I'm the snow kite editor for the Kiteboarder magazine.
Not just that, though. Come on.
And I helped start the magazine about a year ago. And
No, you started the magazine a year ago.
Yep, something like that. About a year ago, 6 issues ago. Did all the layout as the head art director, but I've been involved in snow kiting and kiting in general for about 6 years now, so here I am.
Well, that's cool, man. Well, tonight we're podcasting our premiere podcast, and basically what we want to do is shed some light on the snow kiting, category of kiteboarding, and we know that you've got a wealth of information. So if you can, let us know kind of what's going on in snow kiting right now.
Well, the momentum with snow kiting is just going crazy. We're looking forward to another good winter kind of on the horizon here. We've got a lot of products coming out specifically for kite snowboarding and snow kiting in general. A couple examples are anti-gravity snowboards out of New York. Just came out with a kite-specific snowboard that's a little shorter and lighter than a typical board, which is promising to be a good board for snow kiting. Nash is just coming out with their new version of the Element, which is their foil kite for snow. An updated control bar that will allow for complete D-power, which would be good for gusty winds. Ultra Nectar coming out with a new snow kite jacket. I rode last year's jacket, it was awesome. So they've got some improvements to that, and they've also got a new snow kite pants that has bibs built into it to keep snow out of your pants.
That just really sucks when you get snow in your pants, doesn't it?
That's right. Had that happen more than I could have a bit. So.
Well, most people don't realize that, like, you are, like, one of the OGs of snow kiting. I mean, there's Guillaume Chassignol, who is absolutely pushing the limits, and the United States scene, you and Paul Motz are some of the veterans of the sport. Why don't you give us a little insight into that?
Well, yeah, we've been snow kiting since 1999. I was actually on snow before I ever tried kiting on the water. We were on crappy old equipment, with like a classic 2-line inflatable kite and F1 foils that fold every time you tried to turn them. And, we've come a long way. Equipment's gotten better. We've learned what kind of conditions to look for and getting into different kinds of riding. Like we started out kiting on lakes, just out in the flats. Now we've started to get up in the mountains and use terrain and get into the kind of stuff that Guillaume and his crew over in Europe are riding. It's pretty exciting.
Well, one of the hottest talked about photos this year has been that latest photo in the Kiteboarder magazine of Guillaume jumping that chateau in France. And, why don't you let us, or give us some insight into, like, what it takes to do something like that?
Yeah. Well, basically, they're taking snow kiting and intermixing it with the skills you need to paraglide. So a lot of these guys like Guillaume are coming from that kind of a background where they've been paraglider pilots, or at least have taken some lessons, so they know what they're doing and don't get themselves into too much trouble. That's a whole other side of the sport. It's super dynamic. It's so cool.
Who do you think's really pushing it this year?
Guillaume Chassignol. He's leading the charge over to Europe. There's plenty of other guys following in his footsteps. Norwegians are all stepping it up. Like over here in the U.S., like Alex Peterson, he's actually gone over and competed against those other guys and done really well. He kites on skis, and it is amazing to watch. Really cool. Besides that, I don't know. We've got Aaron Sales, Paul Matsai, myself, Mark Doyle come out to the therapy sessions here in Colorado.
Sleazy J.
Oh yeah, Jason Slezak, he's ripping it up. There's other guys out like in Minnesota, North Dakota, where there's wide open, lakes everywhere, places they can go. Huge crew out there. Actually, if anybody's interested, they can go to mnkiting.com. That's MN short for Minnesota. They've got a bunch of information on places to go, on riders and stuff. So.
No, that's great information, James. The snow kiting scene is definitely growing. We've definitely, you and me, we've worked very hard over the last 4 or 5 years to create, some editorial and create some travel stories and create some awareness on that category of kiteboarding. So, it's really exciting to see where it's going and it's headed this year. And hopefully we can keep bringing the listeners some live information on what we're working on and the newest and latest and greatest gear and instructional updates. So anyway, is there any shouts you want to give out to anybody?
I guess that's about it. Let's just keep it up.
Well, hey, dude, I know you hung in there late tonight to patch into this feed and to give us your input. So thanks a lot for your time. I know I actually, me and James, we recorded this whole session before and we had to completely re-record it because, like I said, we're learning this new technology and I deleted the last one. So hopefully this one will go. And hey, brother, I will talk to you soon. We'll be tuning you in soon. ASnews.net. We'll talk to you later.
Right on, thanks. All right, you guys.
Well, qualified to represent the LBC. Me and Louis really young run to the party and dance to the rhythm, it gets harder. Hi.
Hello, this is Reiner Catelli from ASnews.net, the Kiteboarder magazine. This concludes our premiere podcast. I want to thank everybody for tuning in and listening to us. This is new to us, so we're sorry if we sounded like a bunch of monkeys on here. I think we'll probably get better with time. Our goal is to podcast 1 hour a week, which will be uploaded on Fridays to kdmag.com. or you can go to iTunes and you could do a keyword search on kiteboarding, and we're going to be listed there as well. So thanks again for tuning in. Want to give a shout out to some sponsors real quick, asnews.net and thekiteboardermagazine.com. Thanks for supporting this whole thing. The Ring Media, thanks for putting it all together. Want to thank the guests that we had, Alexis Rivera, Paul Lang, Greg Norman, James Brown for doing the snow. Also want to thank kiteforum.com, Toby over there for giving us all the support, kitebeaches.com. Kitebeaches.com is a great resource for checking out new kite launches. Toesurfer.com, good friend of ours. Lots of good information on that site if you're into big wave surfing or if you just want to check out some cool